And good evening. I'm Jonathan Higgins, live from our studios right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Welcome to this edition of the Scanner Guys. And as usual, we're live on Thanksgiving Eve. So thank you so much for taking some time to join us this evening. I know that a lot of people are preparing for the big day tomorrow. Hopefully you have a lot to be thankful for. We've got a great show to do tonight, so hopefully you can stick around for the full show and ask some questions at the end. I'll definitely handle those questions at the end of the broadcast. So let's dive into tonight's presentation. So it is the show before the big feast, the annual pre-Thanksgiving show. So I can't go without talking about one of my favorite scanners, the Uniden Bearcat 125 AT. This is still a very relevant scanner. I know there's a lot of people that are hobbyists of other hobbies, such as a rail fan or aviation enthusiasts or a maritime, or you're listening to ham radio on the analog side of things. This scanner will do the job. So if you're monitoring railroads, aviation, maritime, this scanner is low cost. It's about $169 now. I believe the price went up slightly, but it's a great unit. It's got the close call feature many of you are familiar with. And of course, it's got close call do not disturb. So if you're using this simultaneous while your scanner is scanning, you're not going to have the interruption during radio transmissions. The big thing at this price point of this particular scanner is the 500 channel alpha tag display. You know, having that 500 channels and also having the alpha tag, you can do up to 16 characters on the screen. So if you're not familiar with alpha tags, it's pretty much caller ID for the channels that you have programmed inside of your radio. It's also PC programmable, which is really nice to be able to program it via the computer. You can program it manually, but it's a lot easier doing it with software. And our buddies over at Butel have great software that's affordable for this particular model. And as I mentioned earlier, airband, railroads, maritime, and if you're going out to the races such as NASCAR, you're able to use this radio for those applications as well. It also supports PL tones to create essentially a private line, being able to not exactly private line, but basically what it does is if you program a frequency and you either program in the PL tone in there, what it'll allow the scanner to block out anybody else that doesn't use that PL tone. So if you are monitoring, I can't even think of a current NASCAR driver. I haven't watched it in years. Joey Logano comes to mind. He's from Connecticut. That's the first name that kind of came to mind. So if you're monitoring Joey Logano and he's on such and such frequency with a PL tone of 123, program that PL tone in there, and then what'll happen is it'll block out any other interference on that particular channel. So you're going to be able to hear his communication. So this is a great gift for someone that's looking to monitor the airband, railroads, maritime, and even NASCAR stuff or racing. This scanner is very affordable. I highly recommend taking a look at this scanner. It does cost about $170, but it's a great entry-level scanner for someone that's looking to do some basic analog conventional communication. This does not do trunking, and it probably won't work with the vast majority of public safety systems that are out there. So it's a great scanner. The other scanner that I would recommend to those same groups, if you're looking for something a little bit more robust with a larger memory capacity, I would definitely take a look at the Uniden Bearcat BCD160DN, which is the portable radio. This radio here supports DMR and NXDN conventional. It does have that increased capacity. Rather than having 500 channels, it has 1,000 channels. Also supports the alpha tag display. With 1,000 channels, that basically means 10 banks of 100 channels, nearly doubling that capacity. It also has a wider frequency range, covering the full, mil-air, civilian, and everything, which the 125 AT cannot. But this radio is certainly a great unit. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a mid-range radio to be able to do those hobbyist monitoring, such as aviation, railroads, maritime, and even taking out to the track, if you're going out to a NASCAR race. The other great thing that I like about this radio is the advanced service search. It breaks out the certain bands into groupings, such as the railroads. They're broken out in between the 1 through 97 railroad channels, and then the splintered frequencies, and then also broken out to the channels that will be eventually used for NXDN. So this is a great radio if you're looking for the ability to monitor DMR and NXDN conventionally. The other thing that I like, which is my big thing I like about this radio, is the base mobile version, which is the BCD260DN. This radio here is able to do the same things as a portable, but it comes in a form factor as a base mobile. I love this because I'm a super fan of the 125 AT, and I really wished when they came out with the 125 AT, they came out with a base mobile version. Thankfully, at this level, there is a base mobile version, which I'm very happy about. So these are definitely two great scanners to consider for those hobbyists, railroad enthusiasts, aviation, maritime, and then anything else that's analog conventional or DMR or NXDN conventional, without having that huge price tag of bumping up to a P25 digital scanner. So everybody's probably heard about it. The Uniden Bearcat SDS150 was just recently announced by Uniden at a recent trade show, and a lot of places are doing their pre-sales. Scanner Master is one of them. If you're a watcher of this broadcast, certainly use the affiliate link down in the description of this video when you're purchasing the SDS150 online. That affiliate link helps us with the streaming software that we use to do this broadcast each and every evening. This software that I use is not cheap, so every dollar helps us to be able to keep this show excuse me, on the air. So here's some photographs of the new SDS150. It has a drop-in charging cradle, which is something a lot of people have been talking about. It also has a battery pack, which is a lot better than the battery box that's inside that case. So hopefully this will bring a more robust battery capacity. The waterfall feature is included, which we'll talk about in a moment. So let's go through a couple of slides. I do not have this radio at this point. I was not a part of the beta test group that tested this radio, so I don't have any hands-on experience with this radio as of right now. So the unit actually has a built-in GPS receiver. This is something that the SDS100 does not have. When the SDS100, you would have to use the external GPS receiver in order to be able to do that. With the built-in one, you're able to just use it right inside the radio. The Bluetooth connectivity is a little interesting. You're basically using an app to be able to remotely use the scanner and view the screen. So the app will be something that's provided by Uniden. As for, it working directly with headphones or Bluetooth, I don't believe that is the case, which is something that I'm not too sure if that can be addressed with firmware updates or any changes of that nature. I'm not sure on that. The other thing is Uniden has moved away from these micro USB connectors or these other connectors that they've had for many years. They've actually embraced the USB-C type of connector, which is really nice, to be able to have a standard connector that many of our devices are using today, which is really nice. Unfortunately, as I said, I don't have any hands-on experience with this. I haven't seen the unit, haven't held it, haven't played with it. So I'm just going by what I know as of right now. And then, of course, as people get these radios in their hand, they'll learn a lot more about it. Charging cradle, which is something that's really nice. And I feel like I hope that the scanner works really well on the charging cable. And hopefully newer scanners, especially some of the low-end radios, will embrace this this battery type of charging system. I've got to say, with the 125 AT and the 160DN, I'm always changing batteries or switching out my rechargeable batteries. Having an extended battery pack on those radios would be a huge benefit to me, especially when I go out rail fanning. From what I understand, the reports say that the battery is more robust on the 150. It's got a larger battery in there, so hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. I would strongly recommend, as soon as Uniden releases accessories for the SDS150, pick up maybe 1 or 2 additional battery packs. This will allow you, if you're out, on portable, not able to plug in, to be able to keep operating, switch out that battery pack. The other thing, too, is if you're in an area where you're experiencing power failures and you want to keep your pulse on what's going on, with public safety, the great thing is having those battery packs charged up. So if there's a hurricane coming, you can prepare, for that, and also have battery packs charged up, so when one dies, you can switch it over to the next and switch it over to the next. I'm not too sure what the pricing will be on the battery packs, but hopefully they'll be relatively inexpensive. I would certainly suggest at least purchasing one spare one. As I mentioned earlier, the waterfall feature is actually included with the SDS150. The thing to keep in mind, if you're looking for DMR, NXDN, or I'm drawing a blank, DMR, NXDN, and Pro Voice, that is not included. Those have to be added into the scanner if you want to take advantage of those digital formats. You can order those directly through Uniden. Now, I'll repeat that again. DMR, NXDN, and Pro Voice, those upgrades are not included on the scanner, so you would have to activate those. You would basically order it through Uniden's website. When you register the radio, they would then give you a key, and then the key, you would enter it into the radio, and then it would activate that portion of the radio to be able to monitor one of those formats. The screen, of course, it has the full color customizable screen that we've gotten accustomed to with the SDS100 and 200. So pretty much the radio is about the same size-wise, a little different with the slide-on battery pack, and of course, with the brand new name of SDS150. Things that are going to be staying around with the 150, of course, it's a true IQ SDR technology scanner, which is much more superior on simulcast communications, just like the SDS100 and 200, but there may be some enhanced hardware inside that'll make it even better on these newer radios, the 150. Also, there is preemptive priority trunking. This is a feature where you can use priority on P25 trunking systems. This is something that would be really cool if you're a user of priority. I've never used it. Typically, I do the common rule is less is more on the scanner. So not overloading my scanner's programming so it's able to scan a lot faster. So this is a brand new scanner. I really hope that people like, what they get. It is a pretty big price tag for this particular radio. It is on ScannerMaster's website and all the competing websites at the same price. It's $949. Yes, that's right. You've heard it correct. It is an expensive unit, but it offers some key functionality for people that have been asking for, a battery pack, built-in GPS, and then some Bluetooth technology with an app. So I can't stress this enough. If you're looking to purchase this radio, use the affiliate link in the description of this video. That affiliate link goes a long way for helping us here at the Scanner Guys. And then as you can see here, the all-new Uniden Bearcat SDS150 is available for pre-order through ScannerMaster. Delivery will start through mid-December, and then they'll continue to ship those radios as they get more shipments in. So you can go to ScannerMaster's website by clicking on the affiliate link down in this description. Let's talk about some other things that we can do for great holiday gift ideas for yourself or someone that's also a scanner enthusiast. I love these SpectrumForce desk mounts. They work great. One of our listeners, Chris Schultz, has his radios inside this desk mount. He actually has all three of his radios in there. This is the SpectrumForce desk mount product line. It's basically a heavy-duty mount where you're able to stack the radios in there. Also, you're able to do their portable mounts as well, where you can have them so they don't tip over, and they work really great. According to your competitor, I don't really have any competitors. I just work contracted through ScannerMaster, and but yes, that's what I've heard. The SDS will receive better the 150 on the simulcast systems. And yeah, so getting back to this, these SpectrumForce desk mounts are available through ScannerMaster. They're certainly a great way to kind of dress up your shack. The other thing that I recommend is a lot of people complain about the user manuals. They complain. They say, that's hard to read, so on and so forth. A gentleman created the Marks user manuals, and they're easy to read manuals. And you can check them out at ScannerMaster. They do have an easier to read manual for the SDS100 and 200. I'm not too sure if there'll be an update to this book or a brand new book for the SDS150. I'm not sure of that, but learn a little bit about the manuals that they currently have. It's written in plain language. It's not in the mumbo-jumbo technical terms. It's written in layman's terms. It's easy to read, also has step-by-step instructions. so you can follow along as you're doing key functionality on the radio. Now, the great thing about it is you're not strapped to a computer or your iPad. It's printed as a book, and it's very easy to carry with you. It's a smaller book, as you can see there. You can put it in your car or have it on your desk. The other thing, it's got colored charts, images, and detailed text to make it very easy to read. And as I already hinted, there's no scrolling or trying to look at a screen. You're looking at an actual book, and you're able to see everything in the book, even make some notes on the side, bookmark a couple of pages as well. But yeah, these easier to read manuals are really great. I've actually used those when I was at ScannerMaster full-time doing customer support. If there was a function that I forgot to, how to do, I would refresh myself by using one of these books. So if you haven't picked up one of these, certainly check it out. They're pretty affordable on ScannerMaster's website. Another SpectrumForce product. SpectrumForce is actually a product line that ScannerMaster manufactures, and this is the SpectrumForce lapel speaker. Now, ScannerMaster has had several lapel speakers over the years. This one's probably their best one yet. This is the SpectrumForce lapel speaker. It's amplified, which is super helpful. To be able to amplify that signal. It also is able to be turned on or off. I know ScannerMaster had a lapel speaker that wasn't manufactured by SpectrumForce, and basically there was no off switch. So as soon as you put that battery in, it was constantly turned on. With this lapel speaker, it does have an on and off switch, so you're not constantly draining the battery. It supports a USB-C charging. It does have on the lapel speaker volume control. It also has a small integrated flashlight, and has a long enough cable to be able to have the scanner on your hip, and of course the lapel speaker on your shoulder. Jim's mentioning the 150 manual. Yes, that is the Uniden manufactured manual that's on their website. What I'm talking about on the previous slide is basically the easier to read manual, where they take that manual and kind of break it down into layman's terms. Yeah, the lapel speaker works really well for noisy environments, as mentioned by South Slider for Life. It's great for doing that, especially if you're out, let's say, for instance, rail fanning, your trackside, the train's pretty loud, it's going by. You're able to have that speaker by your shoulder, bringing that audio closer to your ear. It is a bit pricey, but, it's a amplified speaker. It's very high quality. I can't say enough about it. It's a rugged, nice speaker. I actually have one of these. Eventually, I need to do a video on this speaker. I haven't had a chance with everything that's going on, but it's certainly a great speaker, and I believe we've mentioned this a couple of shows, and this is another great mention again. Well, that is pretty much the slide deck. I'm going to go over and talk about some of the other stuff that you should consider. So if you're in the market for a new scanner and you never owned one before, I would strongly recommend taking a look at Radio Reference. Unfortunately, there is some parts of the country that are using encryption. Now, you want to make sure before you invest a lot of money on a digital scanner, and that ranges from $5 to now almost $1,000, depending on what model scanner you're looking at. You want to make sure that what you're looking to monitor is in the clear for you to be able to hear it. If you're not sure where to start, we would recommend you giving a call to ScannerMaster. Their number is easy. It's 1-800-SCANNER. Check out their website for their hours. A good friend of mine, Tom Swisher, is working there at ScannerMaster. He'll be happy to take your call He'll check radio reference for you and make sure that that the scanner, one, will work for your area and what you'll be able to hear. Like I said before, there's a lot of encryption in certain areas. So with encryption, no scanner will ever work there. So you want to double check and make sure before you invest the money in, you're able to do that. The other big tip that I would recommend when you're purchasing from Scanner Master, if you're not computer savvy or you struggle with technology, I strongly recommend their hometown programming. Their hometown programming will get the scanner ready to go out of the box. It does cost a fee, but it'll allow you to kind of hit the ground running as soon as you get the scanner. Even on these zip code based home patrol type of scanners, such as the SDSs, the 436, the 536, getting that favorites list programmed in, it's going to weed down what typically comes in when you put in your zip code. As many of you probably watched the show before, I'm a huge favorites list type of person. I do not like the zip code because the zip code tends to pull in way too much, and it kind of overloads, and it's just, the more you have in that scanner, the longer it's going to take to loop around again. So when you create a favorites list, you're essentially putting in just the things you want to monitor. With that zip code, it's putting in that zip code into the scanner, and it's looking at what's within that zip code, and it's going to turn it all on. Unless you turn off some of the system types, such as law enforcement or, fire, you can weed that down as well. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great things to monitor still with the scanner. But if you want to get the most out of it, especially on the home patrol type of scanners, the favorites list is the route to go. If you're traveling somewhere and you're stopping at an unplanned destination, I would strongly recommend the zip code. You just plop that in there, you get some activity from your area, you listen to it at the hotel, and then you're back on the road again, and then return back to your favorites list if you've got a road trip favorites list, which we've talked about on shows in the past, how to create those with your law enforcement and maybe some of the big cities that are along your route. And, of course, adding in some of those public works that maintain those highways and byways that you're traveling on. So, yeah, I mean, do some research. Of course, there's the Whistler product line that's out there as well. We're hoping to hear more from Whistler now that they've been bought out by a different company. They did release a firmware update for the the 1045 and the the 1065. Sorry, I haven't looked at the Whistler stuff in a while, so I can't remember all their makes and models. But basically, they're digital radios. There's been some firmware updates, which is really nice. Absolutely right, as one of our people are posting in the chat, the zip code functionality doesn't work as well in those populated areas. For instance, if you were here in Cincinnati, it's going to pull in a whole bunch of stuff. There's certain parts of Cincinnati that have different talk routes for the police, and it's going to pull in a lot more. The one way you can kind of narrow that down is the range on the scanner. You're going to set it to 0, and or 1 mile, and then it'll kind of zero it in a little bit more. But still, when you put in that zip code in there, it's going to pull in a whole bunch of stuff. And you're probably going to miss radio transmissions. So I recommend, if you're going to be using the scanner on a daily basis in the area or the road trip that you're doing or your commute to work, create a favorites list. Now, the great thing about these radios is you're able to do an optional GPS receiver on some of the high-end radios. the 996 P2, the 325 P2. With those two radios, they're clean slate scanners. So you need to program in all the information that you want to monitor. And then you're going to set it so it's able to do GPS, which if you're pulling in the programming from radio reference using one of the softwares, it's going to pull in that GPS information as well. So you need to basically on that radio turn it on. As for the home patrol type of scanners, your SDSs, your 346 and 536, you can run the zip code based with GPS enabled, or you can run a favorites list with GPS enabled. For me, I run in the truck, I have a 536 HP, and I run that with the GPS enabled on a favorites list. So I've already fine-tuned my favorites list. I have the GPS enabled. Matter of fact, for the city of Cincinnati, I did a custom programming where I took every division or whatever they call it in Cincinnati, how the police are divided up by dispatch. I broke it out even more, and I changed the geotag on each thing so it has its own latitude and longitude based on what part of the city it's in. If it's in the Queensgate area, basically the police that cover that area and that talk group will turn on as I enter in that area, and then it'll turn off shortly after I leave. So if I'm on the east side of the city, I'm not hearing the stuff that's going on the west side until I travel over into that area. Let's get into some of your questions here. Glass mount antennas for scanners. Scott is asking this. I've tried it. I'm not a super fan of it, but if this is the only option that you have, it's better than nothing, especially when it comes to having a scanner in the vehicle. You got to think about it. Your scanner inside the vehicle is basically inside of a can. And a can is not helpful for getting signals. So anytime you're able to put an antenna outside of the can, you're going to get better results. So if you're limited to a glass mount antenna, I would say it's better than nothing. But if you're able to do an actual antenna where it's a mag mount or a trunk lip mount or a hole mount, if you're able to drill a hole, I would strongly recommend doing something a little different outside of the glass mount. Trading in my 436 HP for my friend's SDS. Let me just see. I just missed that. Hold on one second. And he's getting the SDS150. That sounds like a good plan. The 436 is still a great scanner, but if you're having simulcast issues, the 100 is going to work better. And then, of course, he's the guinea pig, your friend, for the SDS150. So, you're getting a radio, the SDS100, which has been used and been vetted by your friend. So he's getting the 150. Of course, anytime something new comes out, there's some glitches and bugs, which can be addressed, with the firmware updates. It happens. But yeah, that's a great thing, to be able to trade up with a friend, and then they're able to get the new radio. Chris mentions that he has talked to Tom Swisher. Him and his dad had a great conversation with him. The speaker mic, South Slider, mentions that it's very much like the Motorola APX series. It's got that look and feel. But yeah, it does look like a speaker mic. That's for sure. I went over the manual there. We talked about the simulcast. The 150 should work better on the simulcast. Chris mentioned that he's going to order 2 batteries as soon as they come available. Now, keep in mind, Uniden is trying to do the production run on the 150. As soon as they've done that production run and got ahead of the demand, the next step typically for Uniden is they're going to start producing those accessories and make those available to Scanner Master and the other companies that sell scanners. So keep that in mind. Those accessories are coming. The Tetra system. One viewer wished that it would give the ability to do the Tetra system on the 150. Keep mentioning that. I mean, Uniden and the other manufacturers are listening. So if enough people keep saying, wish I did this, wish I did this, wish it did this, if you keep saying it, eventually, hopefully, somebody will say, maybe we should produce a radio. Enough people are asking for this type of technology. The Bluetooth feature, I haven't had hands-on with this. From what I understand, it's going to work with the app. It may not work with Bluetooth headphones or in your car with the Bluetooth system there. So that's something that I'm kind of concerned about, because a lot of people were looking for true Bluetooth, being able to listen to them on their headphones and such. Just looking at all the other check-ins here. Thank you so much, everybody that's checked in to the show here. We really appreciate everybody joining in tonight. Let's see. I'm just trying to look at some other comments. Yeah, Dale Osborne, this is my annual Thanksgiving turkey drop shirt. There you go. WKRP. It's the annual Thanksgiving show. So Thanksgiving Eve, I should say, show. So I've got my shirt on. As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly, is the quote from that episode of WKRP right here in Cincinnati. Good stuff there. Any other questions or comments? Unfortunately, I don't have a physical radio for the, to be able to show. I'm hoping that maybe Uniden or ScannerMaster will provide me a radio to be able to kind of do a deep dive on looking at it, kind of going through some of the features. But yeah, it's certainly a great upgrade to the SDS 100. It does have a larger price tag. That is, as I've said for the last several years of doing the Scanner Guys shows, with the digital radios, they're an investment. They're not cheap. It is, you're looking at, as I said earlier, anywhere from $500 to now $1,000. So definitely, you need to save up for these units. They're not cheap. The biggest thing that I would recommend is a carrying case. You're spending all of this money on a scanner. Make sure you get a carrying case. So if you're going to be carrying it on your hip or just carrying it around the house, when it's not on the charger and you're carrying it around, put it in a carrying case. You want to protect that radio. ScannerMaster does carry several different carrying cases that'll fit for this radio. They have the hard leather, the soft leather, and the nylon. So they have 3 different options when the carrying case. I mean, you've spent, for this radio, if you just got it just the way it is, $949, plus, taxes, or if you got any shipping costs. You're spending all that money. I would say, you probably should spend a couple dollars more and get a carrying case to protect it. I'm not familiar who that person is, Jim. But I'll definitely see if I can look into that. Alpha Man? Yeah, I'm not sure. See. Any other questions from me tonight? We're probably going to wrap up the show in a few minutes. I just want to give you a little bit of background on the SDS150. We'll have more updates, as they become available. Chris, as I mentioned, I don't have a physical scanner to be able to truly try it and say 100% yes, The carrying case for the 100 fits on the SDS150. Looking at the photographs, I'm pretty sure it will, because the form factor of the radio really hasn't changed. Now, the molds, Uniden spends a fortune just on creating the mold for these radios. So the molds are, quite expensive. So that typically what they'll do is they'll stay, pretty much to a case style. For example, the 125 AT has the same case as the 160DN, and also has the same case as the 325 P2. Now the keypad, of course, is different, but as for the main case of all three of those radios, the outer case is all the same. So that same carrying case will work across the board, whether you have a 125, a 160, or a 325. I'm assuming that the SDS100 case will work for the SDS150 case. So until I get that, I can't say 100%. So don't shoot the messenger. I will know that when I get to handle a radio and be able to try my case on it. Any other questions? All right. I just want to let you all know that we're planning on doing a whole bunch of new shows next year for the Scanner Guys and Train Aficionado show. We're still sticking to the one show a month. So the Scanner Guys show, of course, is on the 4th Wednesday of every month. The Train Aficionado show is on the 2nd Wednesday of every month. So we are looking forward to a brand new season of the Scanner Guys and Train Aficionado show. So it should be a lot of fun being able to do this next year. I'm pretty certain it's the same size radio. The speaker looks bigger because it's on this the desk charger cradle. The radio should be the same exact size. Now the funny thing, if you go to Uniden's website, there's a maritime radio that Uniden carries, and it has the same exact body style as the SDS100 and 200. So you can certainly check that out on Uniden's website. Antenna theory. Definitely we can do something with that. I mean, that would be really cool. Maybe we'll get a guest on to be able to kind of talk about that. Dale, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well. I know that you have the pups there. Happy Thanksgiving to all of your family as well. I'll let my dad know that you I wished him a happy Thanksgiving. I'm sure he's watching the broadcast tonight. I just want to just say thank you so much to everybody that joins us each and every week at the Scanner Guys show and Train Aficionado show. At this time of the year, certainly check on those people that don't have a huge circle of friends or family. Make sure they're okay. Life is short. Make sure you cherish those relationships that you do have, and check in with those various acquaintances and friends, and let them know that you're thinking of them. I thank you so much for joining tonight to this broadcast. Jason does confirm it's a little bit taller, that particular the SDS150. But the carrying case may still work, as long as the radio didn't get a little bit plumper. Kind of like Thanksgiving dinner. Instead of us growing taller, we grow the other way. So hopefully the SDS 150 didn't plump up this way and it'll fit in the carrying case. And then, of course, it may be a little bit on the taller side, which is not a bad thing. I mean, I'm sure if there is a major change in there, I'm sure Scanner Master will adjust their carrying case to accommodate the SDS 150 a little bit better. I know we've done that before when I was working there with changing the case and such. We've done that before. I've actually had a great opportunity of designing some of those cases with Scanner Master, and that's a lot of fun being able to work with the manufacturer of the cases. And these cases are actually made right here in the United States, so I can't say enough about that. It's a manufactured right here in the United States, a United States product. So definitely when you're doing that, you're supporting that. Whatever you're purchasing for scanners or accessories, make sure you use the affiliate link. It's on this show tonight, and of course on any of the Scanner Guys shows. So you can click that affiliate link. It'll take you right to the website. You place your order, and then I get a small percentage of that sale, and that kind of helps us to keep running. But thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Have a pleasant evening. We will catch you again next month for another edition of the Scanner Guys and Train Aficionado. Be safe and be well.